Here's how you take profits in crypto the right way. Most people try and pick the top of the market and most people round trip because they don't time it correctly. I'm going to teach you the same strategy that I utilized to make so much money in the last cycle, life-changing amounts of money because of this exit strategy. And I learned this after I round tripped the first cycle and lost literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. The big thing here is you can't get greedy. Everyone gets greedy in a bull market because the back end of a bull market gets absolutely wild, all right? So here is a chart. Let's say this is the bull market, all right? This is the price of the entire portfolio, the market. The entire market crashes at the same time. Bitcoin usually peaks, altcoins usually peak around the same time, and then we get the huge downward slide. Sometimes this can be like an 80% drop, all right? If you've ever been through a bull market before, rotating all of your portfolio down 80% is sickening. So I really want to make sure you take profits at the right time. Now, most people try and time it here, all right? Let's say you start off with $100,000 here, and your goal is, okay, I might get to $500,000, yeah? Now, let's say your portfolio, you're trying to get to $500,000, but you don't sell until it gets there. If the market doesn't actually get to that size, you're not gonna sell anything, all right? And what I also see, even if the portfolio does get to 500,000 or whatever your goal is, then you increase your goals. And I know this because it's human psychology to get greedy, all right? What actually happens is that at this point in time, there is maximum amount of greed. Euphoria takes over. That feeling of you're being rich, you're sending screenshots to your friends, happy days, you're buying Lamborghinis and watches. That is the time you need to be selling. But 99% of people don't because of how high your portfolio is going so quickly. So what I do instead is take the emotion out of it and I take 33% off as we go up, all right? I take one third. Why do I do that? Well, it allows me to take profits on the way up. Now, I've already done this with two tokens that have done a 10x or more for me for this cycle. I take those profits, either put them in stable coins to then reinvest them down in the lows, or I then reallocate them to Bitcoin or whatever I want to be doing at the time. Now, with this strategy, obviously you're not going to get the most amount of money that you possibly could, but that's paper money. This is real money. What it allows me to do is stack these profits, all right? So stack here, let's say it's 100K in the bank, but I've still got the remainder, 2/3 of my portfolio still allocated. So I'm taking risk off the table by still having allocated a lot of money to the market. Most people think black and white, I'm all in or all out. Stop thinking about that. Dollar cost average out and then reinvest back in the lows before we go again. And that's how you compound your wealth and that is how you take profits in crypto.